Well, hello, beautiful people. So I thought a fun conversation worth having. I got my first repeat business that's spanned over a year and hasn't come into my new pricing and roll-off structure. So how do I handle that? How does my pricing look now versus what did it look like last time? And is he getting more bang for the buck or less a year later? Let's find out. So essentially, this customer booked my 20-yard dump trailer last year. At the time, I was probably $325, but possibly $350, just depending on what the time of year was and when he booked, essentially. I don't have the records from last year. I changed programs, and I wish I would have pulled more info out of it, but that's a story for another day. So the guy calls me up. I actually did not have his number saved, which is disappointing. If I can give you guys a little tip of the day, save your contacts. Save even people that call for quotes. Don't just save the people that book. Save everybody that ever contacts your business that you can, right? So it is super professional and will definitely increase your booking rate if when someone who calls for quotes calls back and you call them by name when you answer the phone. That is a huge plus, huge plus for actually retaining clients on a customer service standpoint outside of your pricing. Because you could be more expensive than the next guy. If you're the one that's answering the phone every time, you're answering and calling them by name, and your stuff gets there when it's supposed to and gets picked up when it's supposed to, people will book from you. So definitely save your contacts. So I did not have his contact saved, but we got through that part of the conversation easy enough. He said he had rented my 20-yard dump trailer last time, was really looking forward to renting it again, and it does feel nice also I'm a one-man show, to have people refer to your business and not yourself, right? When he calls and says, hey, I want to get another one, he doesn't say, hey, Joe, I appreciate your service, I want to get another one. He says, you guys were great, and I'd like to use the service again. So you separate yourself from the business a little bit for a few different reasons, but essentially it makes you more professional if people recognize your business as its own thing, right? Because if one day, and that day is definitely going to come, if one day I want to step away, put someone else in the driver's seat and have a dumpster dropped off, yes, I do want my clients to know me by name, which most of them do. But even more importantly, I want them to know that the product is quality, whether Joe is or is not in the picture, right? If they call again a year later and a lady answers the phone and another person named Ralph drops off the dumpster, I want them to still know that MAXCO is grade A. So he calls me up, and I have yet to have someone with a little bit more distance between the bookings. I have had repeat customers, but a lot of them that use me more regularly, I kind of gave the heads up to that pricing was going to change and educated many of them on the different scenarios in which one might be better pricing now than it was in the past, or vice versa, just so they can make their own good decision and decide whether to continue using me or not. My pricing is not in an effort to chase customers, it's to establish my business the way that it needs to be established, and then I need to find the customers to fill that slot, right? Because not every business is gonna price out the same. You want to not have to set a price based on your competitors and try to beat them on price. You want to get the people that are willing to pay more because you're overall just a better service, and then you need to live up to that expectation. So that's a whole nother conversation. You can't just slack and expect to get more money, right? Be on the ball. So at any rate, This was the first time I've ever had to kind of baby step my way through the conversation. He wanted to book over the phone, so I didn't know if he had looked at my website or not. I quickly, hey, appreciate that you liked the service last time and you thought of us again. Really look forward to helping you out this time. I don't know if you're aware, but I actually did add roll-offs to the conversation as well. So I'm not sure if you specifically want a dump trailer or if you want a roll-off, but I can do both services, right? So my first point is not to go to price, it's to go to expansion of catalog and more opportunities for him, right? Because there may be a way to save some money doing one versus the other, which there is, and me being able to talk about the product over the price is a good baby step to the price. So first response back, yeah, I've got a blacktop driveway. I'm not real sure if I want to have a roll-off on it, but I do see on your website you still have the dump trailer that I booked last time. Can I get it again, right? So now he's educated me on the finer point of he is on my website, so he can actually see the price, and he's called me, right? So he's seen the price, ready to do business, I'm assuming, based on that conversation. So I did now engage on the price conversation. I said, hey, I'm not sure if you're aware yet, but I did change a couple things on how the pricing is set up. I do include one more day in the price than I did last time. And I also have 2 tons included instead of 1 ton in my 20-yard rental. So the upfront cost is a little bit greater, but the overall value is actually a little bit better. You get longer time, and instead of me billing at the end, which tended to be what happened when you filled up a 20-yard dumpster, now it's just a one upfront price and we all are happy at the end of it. I don't have to do any additional billing. Out of his mouth, he said, wow, Joe, I completely agree with that. I could see why that would be frustrating to have to try to recoup money at the end. The price is completely fine. Can you take payment over the phone? I've got the card in my hand, right? So these are little wars that you play in your mind where you don't know how a situation's going to happen. But if you're confident in what you're doing and you've set yourself up correctly, the conversations are very easy, right? So another direction I could have gone with that, my dump trailer is actually a little bit more expensive than my roll-offs are. My dump trailers, I only do up to 3-day rentals, right? I would actually extend it for the right client in the right situation, but essentially I don't do a same-day rental. It's not an option on my website or something I talk to people about. I mean, the right situation, maybe I'd work something out, but I don't do same-day rentals on the dump trailers, mainly for convenience, just because if I'm detaching the roll-off trailer, going back and forth, gooseneck to bumper pole, it can get a little bit stale. So I make it a 3-day commitment so they can be a little more relaxed anyway. I include roughly the same amount of tonnage as my roll-offs, but to give you an example, my 12-yard dump trailer is $335 minimum price point for this the 3-day. My 20-yard dump trailer is $395. So no matter what, if I'm disconnecting, I'm getting somewhere between $335 and $395. My 15, I think, is $365, so I believe it's a $30 jump between each one. You're paying for both size and weight at the same time. So I actually include more weight with the larger rentals, which covers you. So I'm designing it in a way that no matter which one you choose, you want to choose the right one for the job, right? If I were to keep it the way I had done it in the past, which wasn't terrible, but it was a little bit frustrating, you include 1 ton on each one, and then they all have different sizes, right? So your 20 yards are bigger, people are paying more for them at the end, and they paid just a little bit more up front to get it rented, was fine. But you do get into a lot more situations where you're billing additional at the end of that rental, and it's an exhausting conversation to be in a constant state of overages, right? The alternative is include a little bit more and have the people book the right dumpster up front, because that will probably get the job done better anyway. Just makes more sense in my mind, and so far has been working out nicely on a per job basis. I can't tell you if it's hurting my numbers or helping my numbers yet. We'll find out over time, but it is a new part of my process, and so far my overages are pretty much just, like roofing and contracting jobs, residential jobs. Very, very rarely go over 1 ton per 10 cubic yards, which makes most of these conversations a whole lot easier. So I did drop off the dump trailer today. Actually, I gave it to him a day early. So that's another little tip of the day, I guess. If you have inventory the day before and you're for sure not stuffing another rental in before the next job, contact the customer ahead of time. Say, hey, can I get this dropped early? First question out of his mouth, does it cost me anything? No, sir, it does not. You just enjoy the benefits of me not having to do it tomorrow while I have other work I could be doing, right? So he gets an extra day. I get a little bit lighter workload tomorrow. My workload today is pretty minimal. I'm dumping one right now that I've already picked up. Dumped one this morning. So there's benefit to the customer that you can also add that benefits you, and that would be a great example of it. A little bit early drop off makes everyone a little bit happier. Now my workload and day tomorrow is a little bit easier. So all in all, I hope that helps somebody out there. It's a good little bits of info, I think, in some of that conversation. But when you do change your pricing, a lot of people really fear losing clients. Generally, in my experience, if you can explain it properly and you did a good job the first time, it shouldn't be an issue as long as you're reasonable and you didn't just, try to blow your numbers out of the water with crazy stuff. So until the next one, guys, I'll see you later.